Hi everybody!
This is going to be a relatively short video. We know thanks to an interview with an Atlus employee that Persona 6 is definitely in the works. In that interview, it was stated the next mainline Persona title is expected to sell 5 million units in its first year on the market. A rather bold statement when you consider the franchise has sold a combined 17.7 million units worldwide since late 1996, when the first title was launched. Keep in mind, those sales figures include spin-off games. You also have to keep in mind Persona 5 plus Royal and all of its spin-offs make up 9 million of those sales, meaning P5 makes up more than half the sales in this franchise. But that isn't what we're discussing today. No, we're going to look at when we can expect Persona 6 and how far along in development it might actually be. Our last mainline Persona game released in September of 2016 with the worldwide release in 2017. This was followed up by Persona 5 Royal in late 2019 for Japan and early 2020 for international release. So going off the initial release of Persona 5 Vanilla, that means we're now 7 years removed from the initial release, meaning Atlus would have had plenty of time to develop Persona 6. For those who don't know, it takes on average 3 to 5 years for most AAA games to get through their development cycle. This is of course excluding delays, which are becoming more commonplace. Now we have to keep in mind, Persona isn't the only property Atlus develop. They also have properties like SMT, Soul Hackers, and their brand new IP Metaphor ReFantazio. So clearly the company have been busy. Even though Atlus is a large company with the backing of an even larger one, they don't have limitless resources. Manpower can only stretch so far. So where does this actually leave P6 in terms of its development cycle? Assuming it entered early development phases in 2016, that means the game would now be in the final stages of development. How feasible is that though? I would say not too likely, given Atlus have been pumping out other titles. Now I feel like those titles were mostly to buy the dev team of Persona 6 some time, should they run into issues. Hence why we're getting so many releases from the company in such a short amount of time. So let's talk about that before circling back to the development cycle. At the time of recording, Persona 5 Tactica has only been out for about a week. Even though it's clearly a smaller scale project that wouldn't eat up too many resources, it's clear that this spin-off was intended to buy some more time between big releases, because in a few months we're going to have Persona 3 Reload, which is a ground-up remake of Persona 3. The release date for Reload will be February 2nd, making it one of the first big hitting games of the year. As for Metaphor, we have no idea when that game is coming. We just know it will come out next year, though I wouldn't be surprised if it's released late in the year or even delayed into 2025. The game being a brand new IP also makes it riskier for Atlus, so it makes sense to sandwich it between Persona 3 Reload and Persona 6. But that still begs the question, how far along in development is P6, and when can we expect it? If I were to hazard a guess, based off these facts, I'd say Persona 6 is probably mid to late development cycle, meaning Atlus likely has a working build with all of the story beats and scenarios set up. I also feel like we were supposed to have something Persona 6 related announced last year, given that was the franchise's 25th anniversary, which in the gaming industry is always a huge deal. As for why it wasn't announced last year or this year so far, I think that comes down to how far out the game was from release. Atlus have been bitten before by announcing a game way too early. Persona 5 was announced 3 years out from its release. SMT 5 was announced in 2017 and didn't come out until very late 2021. Announcing both Persona 5 and SMT 5 well before they were ready for prime time led to fans speculating if the series had been abandoned by Atlus. Generally speaking, the sentiment from fanbases is never a good thing. It's better to announce a game when it's not too far from release, but also not so close as to not drum up hype. There are some exceptions to the rule, of course. Take for example Hi-Fi Rush, which released earlier this year to commercial and critical acclaim. It was literally released the same day it was announced. So when do I think Persona 6 is going to be announced? Personally, I think the Game Awards on December 7th is a very likely option, given Persona is now a household name in gaming, not just a name among the supposedly filthy, unwashed weebs that the Game Awards clearly want to sweep under the rug. Speaking of, the Game Awards are a sham, and I covered why in a previous video. A card will be popping up now, along with a link in the description and in a pinned comment. But since weebs are seen in as poor a light as plebiscites, one of my favorite insults by the way, maybe they should be referred to as weebicites going forward.
And it's things like this that make me not want to edit for you. Anybody else want to edit for a dude in his early 30s that looks like George Carlin and tries to act like Damien Sandow and fucking CM Punk, an amalgamation of the two? Because I can't take this shit that much longer. I can't. I cannot. No.
Hey, what can I say? Damien Sandow is great, and the unwashed masses need to hear my message about niche games, for I am
the voice of the voiceless.
Anyways, I believe it will be announced at the Game Awards or at one of the early gaming events in 2024. So if it's announced relatively soon, when do I think it'll actually come out? So next year is clearly not in the cards for Persona 6 to release, mostly because they have two of their own games to release, plus they're also publishing Unicorn Overlord, a title by Vanillaware. That makes 2024 a year as stacked for Atlus as this year was for Nihon Falcom. If you'd like to see me do a video on why 2024 will be the year of Atlus, let me know in the comments section. Either way, Atlus is basically set up for next year's releases. They really don't want to cannibalize the sales of Persona 3 Reload with yet another Persona title. This basically means the best time for Atlus to release Persona 6 would be in 2025. To borrow a line from Sojiro Sakura, let me explain. 2 years from now, we really don't know the games that are going to be coming out, meaning the market would be effectively open for Atlus right now, which is something they could use to leverage more sales if things work out. If Atlus want to sell the 5 million units in the first year, that is a tough ask if the marketplace is crowded with not just JRPGs, but other more mainstream releases as well. More so if Persona 6 launches on just a single console. SMT5, which is only on Switch at this point, has sold 1 million units. Admittedly, SMT is far more niche than the Persona games. These expected sales figures have led a lot of Persona fans to speculate on if P6 is going to be multi-platform at launch or not, especially since Atlus and PlayStation seemingly had a good relationship, as a lot of Persona games have launched on PlayStation first, before getting ported to other systems way down the line. Since 2025 is seemingly wide open though, this is a potentially strong move for Atlus, especially when you consider next-generation hardware will be well and truly established by that point in time, since both the PS5 and the Xbox Series machines will have been on the market for 5 years by then, which a lot of people consider the midway to early-late stages of a console's life cycle, since we typically get new hardware every 7 years, though some rumors have indicated this generation will be longer than most people expect. We'll just have to wait and see. Either way, if the sweet spot of 2025 isn't reached, the next likeliest candidate is 26, which would be a staggering 10 years between mainline releases. I just don't see that happening since Atlus can't keep milking Persona 5 forever with spin-offs, and a lot of fans of the franchise are already burning out after 4 spin-off games with a 5th already in development. That 5th title being Persona 5, The Phantom X, which is going to be primarily a mobile game with a PC port. So yeah, in all likelihood, Persona 6 is well into its development cycle. I feel like 2022 or 2023 were the original target dates that just weren't met thanks to delays. Also, with all of the projects Atlus are releasing next year, the company wanted to give those titles time to shine, meaning they could apply more polish to Persona 6. But when do you think we can expect the game? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Want more of my Persona content? Then check out 2 of the previous videos popping up on screen now. Until next time, keep blazing that trail.